and dismantle the group identity politics by acknowledging we are groups, and then getting to a point where the group identity is nothing more than a characteristic which is fact and not necessarily a reflection of a person. But we're not there yet. We're not even close. So we're like at least I would say a few hundred years off from it, honestly. So for me, this is just a blip in the map of history. This is just a little time like blip. Okay, cool. And we're just going to go down in history as that generation that was trying to sort of fix it. So I'm asking, in what ways can we fix it so we can get to a point where the world can be individualistic versus men versus women? Because that's not really rational. Rationality and efficiency demands objectivism, which also demands efficiency in terms of how we are productive. So for me, a productive society would be one where everyone is utilized to the best of their ability, and that means to the best of the individual's ability. What do you think?
Well, I think when you say, look, if you're trying to say everyone ought to be an individualist, I really don't think that that's going to be works in the current year. For the last few thousand years, people have fundamentally been collectivists. There is an aspect of individualism that you can kind of see, but it's kind of individualism of the group. You have an individual group that does one thing or another, but you really can't have individualism of the individual.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm curious on what, and again, I did miss the beginning of the conversation. What was, just to sum it up, what was your particular want out of the current society? Are you a MGTOW, men go their own way kind of individual, or are you more like women? Is that accurate, or is there a different word I can use to summarize your beliefs?
I'm a bit more of a traditionalist. I just used to be kind of a MGTOW, I suppose.
Okay, so you, and just correct me if I'm wrong, you would like a world where women are more docile or subservient, and men are handling the kind of everyday 9-to-5 working load of the man.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. Could you say that again so I can think about it?
Yeah. No, of course. Would you like to live in a world, and by traditional, do you mean where men are working the 9-to-5, getting the money, and women are more submissive or docile?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Okay, perfect. So now that we're on the same page, if I may, do homosexuals exist in your world?
Well, homosexuals
just so I'm clear,
exist in every kind of world, but I mean, 60, 70 years ago, they weren't as kind of out there. And it's not like I'm saying that they need to go trailing the streets and do low-key kind of things. No, but it's a lot more kind of under the table, and that's probably what I would say the solution to it is, I suppose.
Okay, so I'm just curious, so I'm on the same page as you. When you're creating those homosexual relationships, who would go to work and who would stay home?
Honestly, I don't really. I think this kind of argumentation is kind of very picky. But honestly, It doesn't. I don't really think it matters if there's the 1% or less than 1% of the population, when you really should be focusing on the majority, I suppose.
Okay, then I'm on the same page as you. I just didn't want to not understand your argument or mischaracterize your argument. So I understand that. That makes complete sense to my brain. I get it. And correct me if I misspeak otherwise. Well, what I'm, I guess, suggesting to you is sort of being, and this is going to sound really condescending, but I don't mean it to. This is the language I would use for my own self. A reality check. So as much as you would like that world, the majority of the United States, 51% I think, is women, right? And women want to space at the table. And I'm just going to tell you this right now. You most certainly have rights as a single human, and you have rights to represent men as a group. And I encourage you to do that and be an advocate for yourself. I just would like to inform you that the new wave of women coming up, we aren't going to be docile anymore. So our generation, millennial generation, we're not having it. So you're going to have to dismantle a whole generation of women, and they're birthing women who they're going to make independent as long as with their male partners. So I want you to understand that I admire that you want to fight for men of your ideology, but you are the minority, and your ideas are the minority.
You say that, but
you are the minority.
My generation in Gen Z actually is a lot more traditionalistic than material. It's a significant amount, but a lot more like animalistic as opposed to materialistic, like the millennials.
I'm sorry, did you say animalistic versus materialistic?
No. Yeah,
Traditionalistic.
Like, a lot more kind of Gen Z are traditionalistic, whereas a lot more of millennials, you know, you're born in the 90s, you're kind of lucky to have that, but you're a lot more kind of materialistic in, I guess, how you act, I suppose.
For the record,
Okay.
let me just say real quick, Brittany, for the record, for the right guy like Channing Tatum, I would not mind going under the table. So I'm fine with that in certain situations.
Well, okay. Well, I hear he's on the market.
Yeah.
What? Really? That's
Yeah,
so
him and his
sad.
girl broke up. I know. It kills me.
Oh
9
my.
years, but you know what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Did somebody else have something
was
to
that
say,
all?
I think?
Are we
That's
just
okay.
going to go down the line, Kyle, before we end? Are we just going to go down the line again with one more thing?
Yeah. Well, I think he's said he's got to
Oh, he's
head
got to
out.
go.
So we'll
Okay.
do it really quickly. We'll do it really quickly. Just ask really quick questions. Logicked, you're up again. Any final words that you
I'm
want
supposed to have something to say here.
Well, you can ask a question, say, have a comment. We're getting ready to say goodbye to Sal, so if you just had any final thoughts. If not, that's cool too.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. It seemed to kind of turn into like, I don't know. It was definitely multiple on one. So I guess, good on you for coming in.
Oh, thanks.
I don't
mate.
really have anything
It's just
else
the
like
kind of-
meaningful to say. So
It's just the Australian shitposting that it's got to me.
Okay. All right, Casey.
I just want you to
All right,
know,
well,
Sal,
thanks, Sal.
I'm not going the fuck home. So you and your trad bullshit can get the fuck over it. Okay? You all are just going to have to get over it because women aren't going home. We're not going home. We're not going to hide. We're not going to just raise kids and not have careers. And we're not going to go under the table. And neither are gay people. Neither are trans people. So get over it. I don't give a fuck what you think you are. You're not a legion. You're a bunch of sad people. We're not going anywhere. Get over it.
Is that what he said? We are legion?
That's what he said. We're a
It was
legion.
a joke. Do you think that, do you really think that you're being edgy?
Is this the guy that can't get laid who has to go and fuck himself every day?
Yeah, these are the people who have to fuck themselves.
Do you really think that you're being that edgy by thinking, oh, I'll just be, go around and have 100 relationships and that won't affect me in any way? That kind of thing isn't that edgy. You know, that is
100 relationships. Number one.
I don't think anything
I'm
that
not
she's
trying to be
saying is meant to be edgy,
edgy.
dude.
I'm not trying to be edgy, okay? I'm explaining to you that we aren't going home. We're in the workplace and we're not going home. So you're going to have to learn to deal with that. Also, I don't have 100 relationships. I am engaged to a person, an individual person I have a monogamous relationship with. I'm not in 100 relationships. I don't sleep with 100 people. But even if I did, that's still not your fucking business.
And also, I don't think people are going around fucking 100 people just to be an edgelord.
Edgelord. That means something completely different in the gay circle, Logic. Just so you know.
All right.
Oh, he knows. He knows.
Shannon, Shannon, your final thoughts?
Okay, so I'll echo Logick's sentiments. You essentially flew into the lion's den. I appreciate that that's not easy when your opinions are so counter to the opinions that are being presented. I just followed you on Twitter. I'd be interested in having DM conversation with you at some point in time when emotions aren't as high as mine were today, because I don't take kindly to the sentiments that you had, and I could have conducted my conversation better than I did in the moment. So maybe we can have an ongoing dialogue that is better and more productive than the dialogue the two of us just had. But I will reinforce that I ardently disagree with you. We may never agree, but perhaps we can try to understand each other better in that fashion, because it's not going to happen today where you have to leave. So it's Shan with 2 N's _Q0. You would have seen me just follow you if you would like to DM me, I welcome the opportunity to continue the conversation so that we don't have to leave it on this note and can perhaps understand each other's positions a little bit better than we had the opportunity to today.
And I'd like to reinforce that I'm not sorry for shit.
All right,
And
Brittany.
Casey still isn't.
I just want to say thanks for letting me jump on real fast, guys. Sal, I
Sure.
personally think your brain is interesting, and though I don't agree fundamentally with your ideas, I do teach people how to live consensually and ethically in alternative lifestyles, including polyamory. So if you ever want to know more from a first-person perspective, let me know. But other than that, thanks for letting me jump on, guys.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet
And
you,
Sal,
Brittany.
thanks for coming on last minute. We'll say goodbye to Brittany and Sal. Thank you both for coming on, especially last minute. And
I can just X out, right?
Sure. Yeah. Just click the X.
Okay. Bye, guys.
So, bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Both.
Nice to meet you.
So,
Bye, Brittany.
I figured we would kind of sum up the stream with just the four of us and kind of any last minute thoughts that we had over the course of the whole entire talk. I know it got progressively more passionate and emotional, but I'm kind of interested to know what your thoughts are compared to before this stream started. Like Logicked, we were in a conversation, all of us together, and when this actually came to fruition, like when we were thinking about doing this show, what, based on what you've seen tonight, is your kind of feeling? Are you, do you feel more strongly in one way after tonight? The same? What are your takeaways?
Oh, I just came on for the lulls, man. And I think I got some. So, I honestly, like, you know my sphere of YouTube. This is not it. I don't really care. These people are very unlikely to have any real impact aside from, there's a couple incels who went out and like killed people, but whatever. That's not most of them. I guess they're like a weird niche internet community that's posting a lot of weird shit, but whatever. There's a lot of
but
those.
Also,
so it's not like my life is going to change as a result of this. The last guy was interesting. The whole like get women out of the workplace, and what was that thing about the Amazon? I didn't even quite grasp what that was supposed to mean.
So
Amazonian colonies.
So Brittany was asking if it would be like ethical and possible for, if men need their own space, for women to establish, similar companies, industries to men that are women-only workspaces and compete with the men. And so his response was, sure, if you guys want to go build yourself a fucking commune out in the Amazon, which is still basically go away and get out of my world.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like, I've worked with a lot of women and I never had any problems. I know that's anecdotal. I mean, obviously,
that's
but
because
I think
you're not an asshole.
I think his position is pretty anecdotal too. It's just this very strange mindset. It's like
niche. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, to me, like the people you're working with are kind of just people. Has been my impression. But I guess somebody could just criticize me for saying, well, that's just your lived experience, man, and just go go, well, whatever.
I've never heard of these this like group of people like this until I started doing YouTube. Like a year ago, I would have never known that there was anything like an incel. I would have never known that people believe in flat Earth, that people don't believe in viruses or dinosaur fossils. It's only on YouTube that this weird shit comes out and like
Twitter.
Twitter. Well, so the incels, here's the thing is the incels are becoming more aggressive, more bold. They're more out there than they ever have been, similar to flat earthers and stuff. I don't know what is making these people more bold and aggressive and out there with their fucking insane ideas. But like,
the decline in religion.
That's possible. It's possible. But like,
people need something to fill that hole.
Well, and literally, that's what they need.
Literally. Okay. You got me there.
So anyway, like Logicked was saying, it's not going to necessarily impact your day-to-day life. And I hate